This is TOEFL IBT speaking test, and this test evaluates your ability to communicate in English in an academic setting. It consists of 4 tasks. Task 1, express an opinion on a familiar topic. Listening, conversation between 2 students. Man: Hey, did you see that article about the laptop lending program? Woman: Yeah, I saw it. I actually think it's a great idea. Man: Really? Why? Woman: Well, first of all, not everyone has a personal laptop that works all the time. I remember last semester when mine broke, I had to do everything on my phone for days. If I could have borrowed a laptop from the library back then, it would have made things so much easier. Man: That makes sense. Woman: And also, sometimes people just forget their laptops at home or run out of battery and don't have a charger. This way, they have a backup option. It helps avoid stress and wasted time. Man: Yeah, I guess it could come in handy in emergencies. Woman: Exactly. It gives students more flexibility and helps them stay productive. Listening, Professor lecture. Let me give you an example of this technique in real life. A group of researchers conducted a study where they first asked homeowners to display a small postcard in their window supporting safe driving. Most people agreed, since it was a simple and harmless request. Then, a week later, the same homeowners were asked if they would be willing to place a large sign in their front yard promoting the same cause, safe driving. Surprisingly, a large percentage of them agreed to display the big sign. In contrast, people who were asked to put up the large sign right away, without the small initial request, mostly refused. This shows how agreeing to a small request can make people more likely to agree to something bigger later on, just like the foot in the door technique predicts. Task 4, Academic Lecture, Headphone Lecture Topic, Cultural Transmission in Animals. Today, we're going to talk about cultural transmission in animals, which refers to the way animals learn behaviors from one another, rather than relying solely on instinct. One example of this is observed in chimpanzees. In some groups, chimps use sticks to fish for termites. Young chimpanzees don't instinctively know how to do this. They watch older chimps perform the action and learn by copying them. Interestingly, this termite fishing behavior is common in some chimp groups but completely absent in others, even though they live in similar environments. This suggests the behavior is passed down culturally. Another example comes from birds called song sparrows. Young sparrows learn songs by listening to adult males in their territory. They memorize these songs and practice them until they match what they've heard. Like humans learning language, the song patterns are passed from one generation to the next through observation and imitation.
Personally, I strongly prefer spending my vacations in nature rather than in cities. While cities offer entertainment like museums, concerts, and restaurants, they also tend to be crowded, noisy, and often stressful. In contrast, natural environments provide peace, beauty, and a chance to truly relax and disconnect from technology and the pressures of everyday life. For example, last summer I spent a week in the mountains with some close friends. We went hiking during the day, cooked meals over a fire in the evening, and slept under the stars. There was no cell signal, no traffic, and no constant notifications, just fresh air, quiet, and meaningful time together. I came back feeling refreshed and more focused. Something I rarely experience after city trips. Also, I find nature-based vacations to be more affordable and physically beneficial. You get exercise from hiking, swimming, or biking, and you don't have to spend so much money on tourist attractions or transportation. For me, the natural world brings clarity and joy in a way that city life never can. So whenever I have time off, I always choose the outdoors, whether it's a national park, a beach, or a forest trail, because it truly helps me feel balanced and happy. The woman agrees with the university's new laptop lending program and thinks it will be very beneficial for students. She supports the idea because not all students have access to a reliable laptop at all times. For example, she recalls a situation from last semester when her own laptop stopped working. During that time, she had to rely on her phone to complete assignments and submit classwork, which was extremely inconvenient. She believes that if the library's program had existed back then, it would have made her life much easier. In addition, she mentions that students sometimes forget their laptops at home or their batteries run out during the day, and they may not have chargers with them. In those situations, being able to borrow a laptop for a few hours would be a practical and stress-relieving solution. She also feels that offering this service helps promote academic success by giving students more flexibility and access to technology when they need it most. Overall, she sees the policy as a thoughtful and useful step towards supporting students' needs and making campus life more manageable. That's why she expresses strong support for the new lending program. The foot-in-the-door technique is a psychological strategy used to get people to agree to a larger request by first asking them to agree to a small one. The idea is that once someone says yes to a minor favor, they are more likely to say yes to a bigger favor later because they want to stay consistent with their previous behavior. The example from the lecture illustrates this well. Researchers first asked homeowners to put a small postcard in their window supporting safe driving, and most people agreed because it was an easy request. Then, a week later, the same homeowners were asked to place a large sign in their yard for the same cause. Many agreed to this bigger request because they had already agreed to the smaller one before. In contrast, people who were asked to put up the large sign right away mostly refused. This shows that the small initial request made people more willing to comply with the larger one, demonstrating the foot-in-the-door technique in action. Cultural transmission in animals refers to the way animals learn behaviors by observing and copying others, rather than relying solely on instincts they are born with. The lecture gave 2 examples to illustrate this concept. First, chimpanzees learn to fish for termites using sticks by watching older members of their group. This behavior is not instinctive, young chimps have to watch and imitate the technique. Interestingly, this termite fishing is seen only in some chimpanzee communities, which shows that it is passed down culturally within those groups and not inherited genetically. The second example is song sparrows. Young sparrows learn their songs by listening carefully to adult males around them. They practice over time until their songs match those of their tutors. This learned behavior helps maintain distinct song patterns in different bird populations. Both examples show that cultural transmission allows animals to pass important skills and knowledge across generations by learning from each other, which is similar to how humans learn culture and traditions.